Hello, welcome to the live reality games stream here talking about Survivor South Africa, Return of the Outcasts. My name is CK and I have been asked to run this program. Josh and Vince, who did the last season, just tapped out, no interest. I did appear on some of their shows and the fact is they obviously just thought I was too good. So they thought, Chris, you can take over this. There's no point in us running this anymore. And I am going to be bringing on a couple of people that are very dear to me, and I'll be introducing them in a moment. We all played a live reality game that is yet to be aired together, and that's sort of how we got to know each other and shared our love of Survivor. I'm sorry if I'm croaky. I don't have any of my special equipment. I have COVID. I'm in ISO, which means I don't have a lot of the stuff that I wanted to present and bring, but I will make do. I will soldier on. The first guest that I'm bringing on to the show, the second person who will be joining us for this grand draft and assessment, is someone who needs no introduction, and because frankly, anyone that is probably watching this are only here because they came to see her, and we'll bring her in. It is Annabel. Welcome.
Hello, darling. So glad I could bless you with my star power. And what an honor to be invited on the podcast of someone with such esteemed recommendation as Vince and Josh. Great to see you, sweetie.
So our third person will be coming on shortly, but to explain what we do here, the three of us do a draft for every Survivor season, America, US, and Australian. We have a complicated points system, which I'm way behind on this one, but the winner of the season gets a fantastic night out paid by the others. There's more complexity to it. We won't bore you with that. And this is the third period of it. Like ice hockey, the only sport in the world that has 3/3. We do it too. So like we're unique in that way. And the winner also gets this fabulous wrestling belt, which, but for COVID, I would have strapped over me now looking glorious. But Annabelle tweeted it earlier, so everyone can enjoy the belt. Give me a second. I'll just...
Ooh. Have we got visuals on this podcast, babe?
Yeah, this is a step up from the Vince and Josh show. Don't worry.
While everybody's waiting, you may notice this tasteful nude just next to my head. And I know our viewers are probably wondering whether or not it's a nude of me pictured on the screen right now. It's not. So let's just clear that up at the start of the show.
That's not you?
This is me, the nude next to my head, not me.
Yeah, okay.
Photo on the screen is me, nude, not me.
With the wrestling belt. So that's what we're playing for here today. The third person that I'll be bringing in is this other gentleman that we met on the podcast, on the Survivor we played. Now, he is new to podcasting and appearing on these sorts of shows. And what you'll get from Annabelle, everyone knows Annabelle, extreme sass and enjoyment. I try to be as much of a bitch as possible. We're bringing Max in to provide some measure of sense and kindness, perhaps. But to explain Max, you could list his 5 favorite Survivor players as people like Jonathan, Ozzy, Joe. Is he still like Joe? Is he even aware of the issue?
You know what? This is going to be a Max Johnson exposed party because I've had the immense pleasure of being quite intimate with Max. And I would like to out him. His favorite player is Russell Hantz. He pretends that it's Tyson, okay? Fake villain. But actually, Max, and you know what? Look at the people on this screen. Max stands a villain. He loves them. The meaner, the better.
Absolutely. He does. So let's bring him in to the stream. Here's Max.
Hello, everyone. Well, I guess this is my exposed party. I'm not sure I'm going to stay too long if that's the case.
Oh, no.
Thank you
the audience is shaking.
We have one viewer. I wonder if that's Ryan, who said he would come along. Feel free to comment. We'll bring your comments into the show. I'll do a much better job of that than Josh and Vince do. We're going to keep ragging on them as the show goes on as well, as is appropriate. So we're going to do a live draft here of the contestants. Now, perhaps we can clarify what level of knowledge we have of these seasons. I watched. We all watched season 8. Well, Max did. Max watch 8.
Max
You watched the
watched it.
finale.
I'm keeping my knowledge close to the heart here. This is a competition, CK, and as you know, I'm pretty competitive, and I'm going for the win. So
You didn't know who
whether
Smash
I've
was.
seen every single episode, every single podcast, or I've seen barely any, we will leave that to the absolute illusion of what it is.
Sure. And I've watched most of Philippines until it got a bit boring, like halfway through the post-merge. And I've binge-watched half of Island of Secrets in the last day on my ISO. So I am prepped. I have not watched season 5 because you cannot get it in Australia. But you, Annabel.
You just don't have the context, CK.
I was going to say, if you don't have the context, CK. So I have watched 6, 7, and 8. So Philippines, Island of Secrets, the last one that we just had. I do have copies of season 4 and 5, but I admit I only watched one episode of season 5 and then promptly got addicted to catching up on Below Deck. That said, my grandfather, a very successful man who unfortunately gave all of my inheritance to a bird, always says to me, Annabel, never do anything that you can get somebody else to do for you, which is why I got a special consultant, my sister, who watched every single season and listened to every single pre-game interview and gave me a summary of them. So shout out to Charlotte Fiddler, who did all the hard yards so I didn't have to.
I didn't know that your sister was a Survivor fan. Or did you just make her do this and she's not a fan? You just made her do this for
Oh,
you?
no, she's a fan. She doesn't simp for me that hard.
All right. So there's a level here of knowledge between the three of us, and I'm going to bring up now the cast so we can all see it. Here you go. And there we go. Look, I'm a pro at this. The lesson that we already lost a viewer. That's very disappointing. Whoever you are, I'm sorry that we weren't living up to your expectations. It's going to get better. So the picks go myself, then Max, then Annabel. Let's see if I can drag Annabel down here. Can I do that? Yes, there we go. So that's going to make it more sense. Myself, then Max, then Annabel, Max, and then myself. I will actually improve this in a moment. But my first pick is a nonsensical pick because there's no way he wins. But I picked him first the last time we did South Africa, even though there was no chance he was going to win. And he made it all the way to third, notwithstanding. And that is my beloved Chappies. Chappie and I have a Twitter romance. We're friends on Facebook now, and we chat on Messenger about life and stuff. So I have very special connection to Chappies, and even though I think he's got Buckley's chance of winning this thing, I will be selecting him. Look, be honestly, the post-merge tribe is stacked. The pre-merge tribe is a dumpster fire. So you think there's going to be a huge battle of the alphas and egos in the post-merge. I am just going to get even a bit more fancier here for a second. We'll just stop that screen, and then I will do. Someone say something while I mess around with some tech.
We really could have done with some more special effects here. Max and I just went on a very romantic date where we spent the entire date hectically researching for this podcast just now. And while you'll note my eyeliner immaculate, we did forget the mascara situation. So I promise everyone to deliver better next time. Oh. Chappie's only be enhanced with a little bit of Comic Sans. We love that.
The masterful use of Microsoft Paint, ladies and gentlemen. Max, who would you like to pick of these people you've never seen before in your life?
No, I'm pretty familiar with a lot of these faces, CK, so you will be shocked. You said that the pre-merge tribe was actually a dumpster fire. as I recall.
It is.
But in
It is.
saying that, I feel like with my first pick, we're going to get the winner from it. And this pick, I have picked him in our previous draft in the last season of South Africa, and it's going to be. He's also a fellow member of the buff community, and I see him posting a lot, and he's doing good things. And
Oh yeah, Max. He's one of these buff collectors, by the way, people. If that changes your opinion.
And saying that, I feel the second time around, Dino is going to do a lot better than his first try at it. So he's going to be my first pick and hopeful winner of this series.
I have to say about Dino, one important note. Dino was actually a crush pick of mine in season 8, but made the fatal mistake of letting me know on Twitter that maybe he wasn't an appropriate crush pick because he actually has a girlfriend, which is not an acceptable social response to being my crush pick. And I just feel like with reactions like that, who knows how he could respond when push comes to shove in the game.
Yes, all he needed to do was a quick review of your Twitter feed and see your interactions with Fishback and Nick Adenza to see how he's supposed to interact in these circumstances.
Yes, Dino will not be invited to our polyamorous circle, but Dino, we wish you all the best. You're still very, very sexy. I think it's my turn next in the draft. Is that right, CK?
That is right. And you have 2 choices. You have 2 picks.
Okay, well, speaking of sexy, I think I've been on the record of saying there is absolutely nothing hotter than divorce. So my number 1 pick is going to be the delicious Tony. Tony is phenomenal. I've seen her play minis before, and she always brings the spice. I know that Tony has organized some orgs, as well as in-person reality games, which is obviously the sort of thing that CK Max and I all met each other through. So, and she organized some of those where other contestants on this season were playing. So I think she's definitely got the pre-game connections to make it happen for us. And I'm all in on my girl, Tony.
This is an incredible level of in-game research here. Like the...
We've come to play, CK.
Tony and I have been Twitter friends before I even saw Tony's season. If you think I'm not across what Tony's reality game alliances are, CK, then you thought that Max and I came unprepared. So my second pick...
I do rate Tony. I'll be clear, I rate Tony. She's a quality player.
Okay, sweet. We love that for you. My second pick is going to be Meryl. Now, I don't want to go in too tight on why I'm going for Meryl. I'm going to reveal, because this is going to tie into some of my choices later in the draft. But I want to lock in my girl Meryl and explain more later.
Sure. All right, Max. Back to you. Now, we're running out of people from season 8, so I assume you're just going to pick like Thoriso or Pinty.
Oh, you think that's my strategy for this season?
Yeah, the season you watched something of, yeah.
Well, look, I'm going to stunt you right there and go with Sheamus for my next pick. So I like the Sheamus played his game, even though he was the first boot. I feel like it was a close vote. And he was up against the eventual winner of the show. So who knows what would have happened if he'd survived that vote. So I feel like for his second time around, could be something different. And the odds of him doing better than what he did are quite significant. And I hope he does for his sake.
I think for all first boots out there, for former host Josh Peterson, he will be just dreaming that somehow Sheamus can come back and was just unfairly maligned. But look, to be fair, he was somewhat done in by the most iconic missing character of this cast, and that's Ace. I can't believe that Ace is not on this pre-merge tribe because he was elite TV. And like you couldn't find a more appropriate person to not suit the name Ace. Like just his personality, the way he looked, everything is not. And to be the Ace, you've got to be something pretty.
Back off, CK. That man has the kind of hairline only you could dream of these days, frankly. Don't let the comb over fool you viewers. I've seen him in real life.
Wow.
No, I think Saints will be doing well this season.
That's getting harsh. Wow, we're really into the that's what I promised. No holds barred, just sassing on everybody. I
don't mention you the intermediate of this. You described me as the nice.
That's right. You didn't do so much.
Not really, nah. I'm just going to keep it going. I'm a fair referee.
Look, I just want to. I professed earlier that I was close personal relationship with Chappies, and I'll just make it be showing here in a second that he knows what's going on here, and
I'm just saying, Chappies, if you've sent any unsolicited photos recently, they're about to come up on this screen.
Chappies has liked my fact that I was going to pick him. He's right behind the decision. So you bring it for me, buddy. Don't get voted out first, please, because then I have to buy a round of drinks. We're going back to the draft screen. Now, I've got 2 picks here, and I think I am spoiled for choice, to be perfectly honest. There's a lot of quality picks here that I am a fan of, and I'm going to pick there's a lot of choice here. Okay, I'm going to pick something that I'll be honest. As much as I like to pretend that I'm a woke person who cares about equality, I tend to simp for the men quite a lot. They're generally not the worst men, but the men that are strategic and social and have some skills in this physical stuff. But really, it's this strategic and brain that I adore. But I found myself when watching Philippines, a woman that I was standing for probably harder than any of the other people on the cast. And I thought she was just incredible. And that's why I'm going to pick her here, even though she probably will rub a bunch of people the wrong way really quickly. And that is Palessa. Absolutely love Palessa. She's a queen.
So, as previously mentioned, I reached out to expert Charlotte Fiddler, my darling sister, before this. And I said, Charlotte, give me your top 5 and give me 5 that under no circumstance should I pick. And I have to say that under the no circumstance list, the first 2 were Chappies and Palessa. So you know what, CK, I'm not worried about you this season. I think I'm getting that belt back.
Okay, fine. Oh, and I'm just going to go with strategic mastermind Tevin, who really got screwed over for no good reason. He just had his partners turn on him. And of course, that was Tony and PK. So maybe they come for him again, or maybe he gets his revenge on this occasion. Tevin, just chill out a bit more this time and you'll be right.
Partners in the game and partners in real life, I hear, but let's not delve too deeply into that one.
Who are partners? PK and Tony?
No, I'm referring to some controversial Tevin news.
Oh.
We're not going to touch that one tonight, CK, but you're on to a winner.
Oh, no. What am I not aware of? This is unfortunate.
It's going to be
do you not want to defame someone on this podcast? You don't have.
We're not defaming anyone on this podcast. But if you want to,
all the 4 people watching
and later, feel free.
The 4 people who watch this might be a bit upset, so we're just going to keep it PG for now, aren't we?
Who's the last name?
Thank you to our PK.
You guys can all just look at my face when I read this where this information is.
All right, Max, you're up.
Look at your face. Is that what?
No, you're making a pick.
I'm
trying to work out what's going on. Oh, what? What?
You've gone for a real Max choice there, CK. My evil laugh is actually my real laugh. Sorry.
Is this the thing from 3 years ago, or has he done more than this?
Yes.
Hang on, did he wrote that on someone's hang on.
Max, would you like to moving this forward, Max? Would you like to make
your
draft pick?
I am going for my pick.
Okay, that's
tonight, honestly, tonight I've gone in with zero strategy. Usually I go into these sort of things with something in my back pocket, and tonight I'm just going off looks and going off what I've watched and what I've seen and what I've heard.
For context, everyone, Max only ever chooses based on who he thinks the hottest guys are. So this is not a new strategy.
So I foresee a
On that
Dante.
note, Dante, let's go.
It's going to be Dante. It's always going to be Dante.
We'll take. Let's do it. Let's go.
Dante is a classic Max pick. And you know what, Max? I'm a bit gutted because despite an argument with my sister, I really wanted Dante as well. I don't know if you remember him, Max, but Dante was voted off of his season for being toxic and hangry.
Pretty much.
Well, this time around, he's going to have enough food to sustain him for the journey and make to the end.
However, he and Meryl were besties on the show, and they didn't vote each other out, so presumably they've remained friends, and they will probably be looking to work together, I expect. So there's definitely a clear partnership there already.
Correct. I feel good about those two. Okay, well, I'm very excited because I still have my third and fourth pick on the table. So I'm going to lock in number 3 with Marion DeVos, one of the most recognizable faces in the franchise and an absolute legend. And I believe that she should be in pretty tight with some of the other people on this cast as well. Again, I don't want to give too much away just yet, but I'm feeling very, very strongly about her.
Was she from season 5?
Yes, she is a season 5 pick. Also, apparently good friends with Pia Miranda now as well.
Is she the one with the gorgeous facial pigment thing?
Yes, which she got as a result of Survivor, I believe.
Oh, just like Pia Miranda. They both got it from Survivor.
And that's why they're good friends, correct.
Interesting.
How do you think they got it from Survivor?
Yeah.
Is it easy to do?
I don't know, darling. I didn't do any research. But I would like to move on to my number 4, Tayyip. So I can reveal that Tayyip has also played in a live reality game organized by Tony and has played or has connections via that game with at least 2 other players this season. So even though Tayyip is the only person from his season, he is very well integrated with the online community. He has stayed part of the Survivor Network ever since he was on, and I'm sure has locked in a few solid pre-game alliances this season. So hit me with Tayyip. I'm starting to notice I've stacked all in on the post-merge tribe at this point. So fingers crossed they do okay.
There will be 2 people not picked, to be clear here, because there's 20 people when we'll go to 18. So we see who ends up not picked. Can we just clarify, these people were playing in a live reality game, like a Melbourne Survivor or Backyard Survivor, after they went on Real Survivor?
Correct. Strange behavior. Incredible. And a few of them have played a lot of online minis. I certainly know that during the deep depression of the COVID era, watching a few of these players do sequester minis that went for hours and hours and hours is definitely how I filled some of my weekends, and I'm not ashamed to say it.
Okay. You have come very equipped to this, I must say. I thought watching half a season was doing the job, but clearly it wasn't. And I should have obviously just done a general Google of all my picks, having now read the information about the strategic mastermind, Dr. Tevin. I'm glad we all got to see my reaction in real time as I searched and then discovered the content in question. Max.
So I feel like I've found my strategy now. And I feel like you 2 have given it to me, or have led me on the path, I should say. So continuing on, you know what? I would like to select Felix as my next pick.
Wow.
That was going to be my next pick.
Well, you both wanted Felix. The guy was out of control on his season.
People live and
Yes.
learn, CK.
He was hangry, but that said, he did start on a tribe with both Meryl and Dante, and he voted with both of them. So you've got to think that he's got some good relationships in the game.
Fair call. Okay, so I've got an easy next pick here, which will be PK, who is just, I think the guy Max should have picked, who is just an absolute physical beast and just seems like a lovely guy. Does he have information I'm not aware of that I should be Googling? You seem like a lovely guy on this season.
He did, and I have to say, I felt good about PK. My issue with PK is that he blindsided Tony, and Tony...
But they were done when that happened. Like, they were out of numbers.
Sure, but would you ever trust somebody who blindsided you ever again? I don't know about you. I'm a bitter Betty. I don't see PK involved in the online community together in the way that, say, Tony and Dino are. Dino, by the way, I really didn't realize has already been picked. Dino won the live reality game that he played with Tayyip and was organized by Tony. And so PK not part of that posse. Tony blindsided Palessa. Palessa and PK always voted together. PK then blindsided Tony. I'm just concerned. I think Tony's better connected on that tribe. And I just feel like even if they're not gunning for each other off the bat, maybe there's not a great relationship with Tony and PK.
I could see, though, PK and Chappies being buddies and bring Dante into their boy crew, potentially. I could see Palessa being a fan of them. And I don't know anything about this Shane guy, but he looks like the sort of dude that wants to align with a bunch of other dudes. Is that a correct assessment of Shane?
I would say that Dante is going to be tied with Meryl.
Yeah.
And I think Tony, they're going to be stronger with Tony and the Tayyip crew. If you think Tony and Tayyip have a pre-game situation, I'm going to pick it in my round somebody else on that tribe who also is part of that pre-game alliance, in my personal opinion. And I just think that PK and Palessa are on the wrong side of the numbers.
Okay.
Who knows until the game starts?
Now, the issue is here, I'm not going to pick Pinty or Thuriso. I don't think either of them are going to go very far. And so then I only know Steffi and Tanya, or Tanya, as it was said. And honestly, Steffi on that tribe, to me, does not look like a good spot for her. But let's just... she's not a great player, but she's a bit of a beast. Let's just go with her, and then I'll just even out what might happen on this tribe. This could be a huge mistake, but let's see how that goes.
Steffi was one of my top picks as well until she also made the Charlotte Fiddler do not pick list along with the rest of your choices. So
all my players are the one. Are they the five she said not to pick?
No, they're not.
No.
In fairness, I don't think PK or Tevin made the list.
She obviously wasn't familiar with the Instagram post. Max, who would you like to pick?
I'm just going to close up the Postmates tribe and take Shane.
Do you know anything about Shane? I do not.
I do. I know he went pretty well in his season, and I'll leave that there.
So Shane's daughter was also part of the same org that Tayyip and Dino played together, as organized by Tony. Though my sister, a little bit sketchy on this one, as he is, in her words, a bit of an asshole. A lot of fun to watch on TV, but a bit of an asshole. I'm personally rooting for Shane, and he was going to be my next pick as well.
As I said, he looks like the sort of guy that's going to be aligned with a bunch of other guys and just be an asshole to people. That's what his cast picture tells you. So
him and Meryl are very tight. They stuck together during their game.
Him and Meryl weren't in the same.
Oh, no, him and Marianne. Sorry, Marianne.
Oh, Marianne. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right. And Anno, 2 picks for you.
Okay, I am going to take Teresa. I saw Chorizo play a few of the minis. And while she didn't have a super aggressive game, the fact that she's still part of that community and certainly I believe played one with Tony makes me think that she might have some of those pre-game relationships, which will be important. I think Dino and her are probably relatively familiar with each other. I'm also going to choose the Annabel of the cast. So someone who's quite loud. Everybody immediately got off on the wrong foot with her. But let's be honest, she's gorgeous. She's hilarious. We love her. We're here to stand. I'm going to take Shona.
Again, it's not from the season one season I haven't seen. So she's very much like you. Is that what we can expect from her?
Yeah, she's got big Annabelle energy. She's loud. She's there. Oh my God, Ben. Love you. Yeah. Great to hear you. But yes, Shona has big Annabelle energy. She's perhaps rubbing people a little bit the wrong way, but we stand. We love a woman with a loud mouth.
Do you think she's going to clash dramatically with both Felix and Tanya then?
I would say she is probably, yeah, but I feel like she could get along. Other people have great things to say about Shona. The fans love Shona. Unfortunately, Shona's castmates didn't love Shona, and we're hoping we can just turn that around this season. All right, Snyder, we're here for it, sweetie.
Schneider, got it. Look, to be honest, as I said, I haven't seen Shona play, but if she's anything like you, then I am not surprised that you would pick her to be liked over Felix and Tanya in that ultimate fight, because really, who likes Felix and Tanya? On to Max for your final pick.
Can you guess who I want to pick?
Philip.
I feel like I've gone for all the males. And statistically and strategically, it could be a good approach, or it could really bite me in the ass. Obviously, I have nothing against the lovely ladies playing this season, but I'm just purely going.
You pick none of them.
Statistically, there's a 50-50 chance who's going to win the game, whether it's and I'm just gonna have to pick with Philip, I guess.
What's the deal with Philip? What's his deal, Annabelle?
What's his deal, Annabelle? Please enlighten us.
Now I've seen Philip play, I'm sure. Oh, that's because I've seen the first episode of season 5. Yeah. So Philip was unanimously voted out 15th. He came 15th on his season. Look, I don't remember a lot about Philip because I haven't written any notes on him. He goes by Phil or Philip, but he was a unanimous boot, 4th from his tribe. So we love you, Phil. Look, from your photo that Max has written over the top, you look sexy. I'm into it.
So Max completes his draft with all men. I will now have to complete my draft with one of these 3 women. Hold on a second. Did Philip get a last place finish?
So Philip wasn't the first boot, if that's what you mean, Snyder. Philip was season 5 and was voted out. So Kalani was actually voted out before Philip. He was the 4th boot from his tribe, but he did not do fantastically.
So I know nothing about Kalani. I've seen Pinty play, and it wasn't something that I'm interested in putting any money on. Tanya got way further than she ever should have. Like, she lucked out with the safety on the Island of Secrets one round, and I don't know how she kept on going. She then sort of became a valuable number, but Jesus, was she annoying. So I am going to pick Kalani just because sometimes better the devil you don't.
I think Kalani is a great choice. So Kalani was the first boot from her season, but it's based on I didn't watch that season, but based on the interviews that Shannon Gus and Mike Bloom did and the podcast that Shannon did, it's pretty much accepted within the fan community that Kalani was only voted out on account of racism. There was a guy in her tribe who seemed to have a particular issue with having a brown woman on his tribe and rallied everybody else against her. Unfortunately, that did include Marianne and Shane, who are both on the Masu tribe, but Kalani's not starting with them. Kalani is very strong. She's an international sports professional. Something that I do think we should note about Kalani, and I think will come up on the show, is that Kalani has had an incredibly rough couple of years. So Kalani has, just before coming out to play Survivor, lost both her long-term partner and her mother to COVID. And they both very recently passed away, and that is something she's battling on the show. She probably would have been one of my first picks, but while she's one of my emotional first picks, and I really feel for her, and she seems like a very self-aware, strong, physically strong, fantastic woman, I feel like historically, perhaps with the exception of Adam, when you're processing those kind of very, very fresh feelings on an empty stomach, perhaps that's going to be a lot to deal with on top of the game as well. So hard is with Kalani, but I don't know about you guys. Perhaps these games aren't always the healthiest environment to be in when you're feeling a little bit rough.
Or it's the very crucible that she needs to build herself out of that horrible situation and just focus on something different, and get those emotions out maybe. But I'm pleased with the pick. I'm there for her journey. It sounds like a very positive one, and surely she won't get voted out again just based on race. I feel like Survivor South Africa has moved on a bit from that, and it always presents such a diverse cast in more recent times, certainly. Then, of course, you had the season Tom won somehow. Then we had, I'm just going to put this up because he's one of the three people watching. So the other two people can get this information, that he's an online sim racer and he's sponsored by Where We're Here live reality games.
We love you, Snyder.
Thank you for staying here and watching it, Snyder. It is very valued. Otherwise, we're just talking to our own selves in an echo chamber, as we usually do. Recapping the choices here, and we'll get the view of the listeners and watchers at home of whether they agree that the two people we've left out are the two that have been left out. Should Pinty and Tanya have been the ones that were not picked? Let us know in the chat. And while you're doing that, we're recapping. Max has chosen his boy band of 6 men. Dante, Dino, Felix, Seamus, Philip, and their manager Shane. He's got the full boy band of guys there, I think. He really does. You got the long-haired guy. You got the long-haired guy.
It's the new One Direction, and they're all going to the top.
He's got the long-haired, sexy guy. He's got the token black guy. He's got the buttoned-up collar.
Hot nerd, Dino.
Yeah. This is an absolute, and Shane is absolutely their manager who's stealing all their money. Schneider, look, absolutely, you can have him. Schneider, you're in. You got Piney and Tanya.
But Schneider, if you're the first out, you got to buy the first round of drinks. That's the rules.
You have to send us some money on PayPal. Annabelle, with all her vast collection of notes, including somehow making her sister watch all these seasons in advance and listen to all the relevant podcasts, has chosen Marianne, Meryl, Tijan.
Yeah, get Ryan up on the screen. Ryan has important things to say about Tanya.
Tanya has Shane Gould upside. You can also have, you can have Tanya then, Ryan, and Schneider will have Pinty. We'll go with that.
Pinty was one of my crush picks. In fairness, she's very hot. Unfortunately, also can be very hostile.
I'm just gonna add this in. Why don't you recap your?
Yes, so I've got Marion, Meryl, Tayan, Shona, and Tony and Teresa. Love this for me. I love that I got all the ladies that Max couldn't see, plus sexy tan. And then maybe CK has a slightly more gender balanced tribe with Chappies, PK, Palesa, Steffi, Kalani, and cancelled Tevin. So we love to see it. I think these are some very fun picks. We can all agree that I have the hottest tribe, though. Snyder has Piney.
Debatable.
Ryan with
Debatable.
Oh,
I may
debatable.
have the hottest tribe as well.
When Max and I play pin the clitoris on the pussy, we don't make Max wear a blindfold.
Okay, so I think we can probably, unless anyone else has something valuable to add to the content we've already been doing. This has been really enjoyable, a quality draft, and it's different from our other drafts where no one watches. So 3 people got to enjoy this, 4 sometimes. That's got to be a peak audience for one of our drafts. Now this show is airing stupidly every night for 4 nights for some reason, but it's not going to be like Australian Survivor, 3-month long nightmare. It's going to be just over in 4 weeks, I think. So there's only 24 reps. So we're over in 5 weeks.
Okay, that's achievable. Snyder wants to know if anyone could be a Parvati 2.0. And I would like to nominate Tony. I think science has proven time and time again that divorce improves your sex appeal at least ×4. I'm sure some people in the chat will agree with me. So I definitely think that Tony's got what it takes. And I don't know if anyone's seen her glow up recently, but she is looking like one sexy lady and definitely has Parvati upside.
I want Palesa for Parvati upside. I think Palesa can come back and win this time. She was probably stronger than Parvati in her first season. I rate Palesa. I think she's a champion and she'll find another 50 million idols.
Palesa think how these people are going to interact with Max picks. Palesa does not have time for the bullshit of a Max pick.
Somehow Palesa interacted with Tom for like most of the season. Either they were fighting with each other half the time, and then they went on that reward together. It was this very bizarre relationship. The men that don't respect women respect Palesa.
Okay, T. You know what? I'll take that. I'll take that.
And Max, you feeling good about your boy band?
Look, I don't think I'm kind of.
Who of your boys?
I don't have a Parvati to I want to just say
Dante. He's got the long hair.
Oh, that's a bit unfair for Dante, isn't it? Just because he's got long hair, just automatically assume he's the next Parvati.
Who's the biggest flirt of Max's group?
Oh,
I think you've got to go with Shane. I mean, look at that pout.
That's it. It's just that in that picture already, you just see the strength and welcoming vibe he has. Just got
smoldering. He's smoldering.
He is smoldering. That's probably the best way to say it.
He looks like a guy who has a lot of pride that doesn't like being told what to do by anyone.
He just looks like he's coming out for his second shot at it, and he's just gonna go for it. He's just gonna take no prisoners and go all the way, hopefully. I think I've said that about every single one of my picks minus Felix. I reckon, you know what? Felix should have been my number 1 pick because I haven't backed him in and he's probably going to do the best. So there we go.
Just identify this chart that I pulled off the internet refers to him as Chapman, whereas everyone else forgets the actual first name. Why does it not say Francois? His name is Francois. Like, why is it Chappie's Chapman? Jesus Christ, he has a name. Okay, so we will try and we're not going to recap every episode because that would be crazy because it's on every night and who would even watch us doing that. So we will try and do one every week and we will recap where we're sitting with our picks and sort of recap what's been going on the show. But we'll just be really just talking trash because there's other podcasts that do all this stuff seriously, so we might as well just have some fun with it. Okay, Schneider, you're here. We'll get some promotion for Schneider.
We stand Schneider.
Check out the Maverick Cup series on Facebook. He runs a live reality games paint scheme in the series.
I don't know what that means, but I love it for you, sweetie.
I think he drives a racing sim, like racing, but like on computer, but it's like a real race. And he may have like the actual gear where they race in like a computer car, right? And then on his car that's in the racing sim, Live Reality Games has like a logo on his virtual car that he races in the virtual race. Is that right? Have I got it right, Schneider?
Also, I love that his name's Snyder, but we're going Schneider in some kind of Rob Schneider. Yes, sim racing. It's broadcasted on YouTube. All right, everybody, we love Snyder. He's possibly my new favorite sports star because I didn't really have one in the first place. So I stand Snyder.
He's the number one fan. He's been
there from the start. He's been there from the beginning.
We hope that Pinty can do it for you. So we'll announce when these are coming, probably on a Sunday or a Saturday after the 4 reps, and we'll see how everyone is tracking. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you Max and thank you Annabel. We will catch you in a week, and we'll see how badly these picks have gone for Max's boy band.
Famous last